Sam hadn't heard his phone ring in days. Out here, on the edge of nowhere, the signal barely existed. He'd moved to the coast to escape, to start over. A small wooden house, a view of the sea, and silence. That's all he wanted. But that night, the silence broke. The phone rings, and there was a faint echo. He stared at the phone for a long time before answering. The number was unknown. When he picked up, there was only breathing on the other end, slow, measured, deliberate. Then a voice said his name, Sam. It wasn't loud. It wasn't angry, just calm, controlled. Like someone who knew him, someone who shouldn't. The voice told him to check the attic. Then the line went dead. Sam's heart thudded against his ribs. He didn't even have an attic. At least not one he dever banim. He grabbed a flashlight, climbed the narrow stairs, and pushed open the creaking door above. The air up there was cold, heavier than the rest of the house. Dust hung like fog, and cobwebs glistened in the beam of his light. In the corner, he found a small wooden box. He didn't remember owning it, but his name was carved into the lid. He opened it slowly. Inside were photographs, hundreds of them, all of him sleeping, eating, walking to work. Some were from his old apartment, a place he'd left years ago. Others were from here in the new house. Photos taken through windows, through curtains, all from the same angle, like someone had been watching him from just outside. He stumbled back, dropping the box. The pictures scattered across the dusty floor, and in every single one, there was a figure, a shadow, tall, motionless, always somewhere in the background, sometimes by a tree, sometimes behind a car, and in the newer ones, closer, always closer. Sam's breath quickened. He turned off the flashlight and stood there, frozen in the dark. Then a sound from the room below, a slow creak, like a footstep. He pressed his ear to the floorboards. Someone was in his house. He moved quietly, step by step, down the stairs. The living room was dark, except for the faint glow of the moon through the window. The front door was wide open. Outside, the wind had stopped. Everything was still. On the porch lay a single photograph. Face down, he turned it over. It was Avim standing right there, on that same porch. Only it had been taken seconds ago. He could still see the faint flash reflected in the window behind him. Sam's hands started to shake. He whispered, "Who's there?" No answer. Just silence, and then his phone rang again. There was a long pause, the same number. The same calm voice. "Don't run, Sam. You'll miss the ending." The line went dead once more. He ran back inside, locked every door, and sat by the window, phone in hand, waiting, heart pounding like a drum in his throat. Hours passed. No sound. No footsteps. Nothing. Eventually, exhaustion took over. He fell asleep on the couch, the phone still in his hand. When he woke, sunlight filled the room. The door was closed. Everything looked normal, except the phone was gone. And where it had been, someone had left a note, a small folded piece of paper. He opened it. It was a photograph of him, asleep on the couch, taken just before dawn. No one ever traced the calls. No one ever saw the figure again. But some say, if you listen closely on quiet nights, near the coast, you can still hear the faint ring of a phone and a voice asking someone new to check the attic.